Hi everyone, welcome to today's BIMCO Bites on Advanced Wall Features. Today we'll be diving right into the editing of walls to explore how you can modify vertical structure, look at integrated sweeps and reveals, how to split and merge different regions of your walls, and how to assign layers to those regions. Okay, so we're going to jump into a 3D and have a look at our end result first, so you can see the types of activities we'll be up to today. So we've got a wall here. If I click it, you can see there's actually a lot of complexity going on with this wall. So we have these layers that are stretched down. If you go to the top, some of the layers are stretched up. Head back down again. We have this decorative timber moulding. We've got some timber paneling running through here, and we've got a shadow line skirting board as well. These can all be achieved within the same wall by editing the structure of the wall using those features mentioned before. Let's go ahead and do so. So we're going to go into our unedited version, and I'm going to select my wall, and we're going to have a look at editing the structure. So we'll select our wall, go to Edit Type, and open up the Structure Edit dialog. Okay, first off, to do any of these advanced wall modifications, you'll need to enable the preview of your wall, and as well, change the view to section. It's also advisable to have your Revit set up to be in thin lines, makes it a little bit easier to see, as well as your preview set to consistent colors. All these little features just help you to navigate this space a little bit easier. Okay, now that that's been turned on to section mode, you'll see that all of these buttons down below now become available. And you can see that this actually says section preview only. So in other words, you cannot activate any of these buttons until you get the view into section with the preview. Okay, first off, let's have a look at modifying the top and bottom extents of some of these layers. So we do have a brick veneer construction here where we would like to bring our brick down to sit within our reveal. So we're going to go to the Modify button first, and we're going to hover over the very base of the outer boundary of the outermost wall, which is the brick. Select it, and a padlock will appear. You can then proceed to hover over that padlock, click it to unlock it, and you can also do the same with other outer boundaries as well. So let's just start off with the bottom there, and we'll click OK and OK again. Now what happens is I've already had it predefined, but you can see over here we now have a base extension distance. So by default, that will actually be 0. It can be a negative or a positive number. And this now also has a couple of grips that you can drag down and snap into position. So we're able to now extend the skin of the brickwork down, which gives us that nice, neat and tidy look and a bit more accurate details. Okay, for the upper section of our wall, we may wish to stop our brick a little bit short, hard work all the way up. So again, we'll go into Edit Type, Edit for our structure. This time we're going to zoom in to the top. We're going to go to Modify and pick the layers that we'd like to unlock for the top. Click OK. And again, I have something defined, but you can now modify that. Now you'll notice that the layers will move together. You can only unlock and have a single top extension distance and a single base extension distance. You can't individually control every single layer. You can only do just the main core of the wall. the main portion of the wall and the extension distances for those unlocked layers. So the wall will now move. If I change this to say 2300, you'll see all of those will move together with the base and top extension distances. Okay. Let's have a look now at doing some integrated sweeps and reveals. So we'd like to put a shadow line skirting through here, an aluminium integrated skirting. Now to do that, we're going to go into Edit Type, back into Structure, and this time we're going to add a sweep in. Now you'll need your sweep profile loaded into your project. I've already loaded one in that we can use, and I'm going to click Add, and we're going to select our shadow line profile. Now for this one, I'm going to be using a 124mm high shadow line. And material, we're going to pick from the 3 dots here, an aluminium. Okay. Now, these are the parameters that we have available here. Control the positioning and whether it cuts and what it cuts. So here we have the distance, and I might just pull this across. We'll hit apply first. Now we can see that's now appeared. It's out on the outside. So first, of course, we want it on the interior. Hit apply, that's moved it over. The distance will be the distance from the base or the top, you can pick. We're going to go with base. When there's no real need to change this, but just to demonstrate, you can see that in action. The orientation, whether it's parallel to the ground or perpendicular to face. Won't really get much difference here because we don't have a sloping wall. We've already looked at the side. The offset, you can see that that moves it horizontally. Whether it's flipped, obviously it's in the right position. And the setback, now the setback, we'll have a look at a little bit later, but it basically determines when it intersects with a cuttable element, whether it runs over that cut or comes back from that cut. You can set that as a positive or negative. Does it cut the wall? So in other words, when this is modeled in, is it cutting that section out of the wall? And is it cuttable as well? So can it be cut by other objects? So we're going to pop that in. Now we might actually add in another sweep while we're going here. And this time we're going to put in our moulding. It's our decorative moulding, and we're going to pick timber mouldings. For our material. Now for this one, we're going to set it up at 350 mils from the base on the inside, 0 offset, and a setback of -10. Okay. Okay, and you can see that that's now added timber moulding and our shadow line skirting. But the problem here is that obviously the shadow line skirting, you do want to see a shadow, particularly if you're doing a render of this space. So we will need to add a reveal to this, and a reveal is a negative out of the wall, so cut out of the wall. So we'll go to reveals. We'll add one in. In this case, we're going to pick one that is predefined. So we've got 13mm plasterboard here. So we're going to have a 13mm deep reveal. And we're actually going to take up the entire height of our shadow line skirting. We're going to 0, base, perpendicular. This is going to be on the inside again. 0 and okay. You can see that's now cut all the way down to here. We've done the whole section out because our plasterboard will stop at the top of that shadow line aluminium strip. Be very careful of the escape key, by the way, guys. It's worthwhile going in and out and clicking OK a few times to make sure that you don't lose all your work. As soon as you hit escape, you lose all your work. It's a really frustrating thing. All right, that's coming along well. Next, let's have a look at splitting and merging regions. Again, back into our edit structure dialog. We're going to split our plasterboard layer here and assign a timber paneling to it. So we'll use the split regions button and we'll hover over the layers. And you can see it comes up with a suggested split and click when you're happy. All right, so that's now split that plasterboard layer into two portions. If you do want to modify it, click the modify button and you can very delicately select that little line and you can change its offset like so. So let's make that 500 or so. 400. Just depends where we want our timber paneling to start. 380. I'm just going to let our plasterboard run down a little bit behind it so we get a nice clean edge. Okay, now you'll notice in here we have this little arrow as well. So when you hover over this arrow, it comes up with the tooltip. You can sit there and you can also sit in the bottom left down here when I hover over it. Now that is going to determine whether the constraint is from the bottom, which it is at the moment. You can see the 450 here, or from the top. And if I click it, it will reverse it. And now the constraint is from the top. In other words, it will always maintain 1550 from the top. And generally speaking, from the bottom seems to be the most robust method and stops the wall from breaking when it's not tall enough, essentially. Seems to make sense as well in this regard. Okay, so now we've split our wall up. We need to assign a material to it. So at the moment, we've got plasterboard here and plasterboard down below. So you'll see as well, after we've split the wall, it's now changed its thickness to variable. Okay, so you can't change that again. If you would like to change the thickness of the wall, you can click it, you can change it here, which will change the whole thing. Just undo, no, you can't undo in here, which is 13, back to there. But you can't step the wall in and out, by the way, on the outside boundary using this feature. What you can do is split the wall on the inside edges though. So I'll just demonstrate this. We'll do a split. And let's just say we have a stud that changes halfway up. So I'm going to split it. Let's go. Be very careful what you pick here. I'm going to split there. And because I've made a mistake here, I'm going to use merge those back together. And we've got a layer here. Let's split. It's very, very delicate there. And we're going to use merge, and we're going to merge. You got to pick which direction you want to merge. See there? You can see that that's our gap layer, that's our stud layer, and we don't want a line there, so we're going to merge those two as well. So we have this little stepping section, and that's now from the top. Now I may wish to modify that. As I said, it's more robust from the bottom, so you can pick that and swap it around. Okay, let's just leave it at that. Click OK, click OK. Let's have a look at that. You can see that that's actually put that step in our wall. And we've got that edge there. Okay, so last, we just need to assign a material to our lower paneling. So let's go into edit type, edit, zoom in. there's our plasterboard layer. Now you notice that when you click on these layers, they actually highlight. Now it's going to be really important in a moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to assign layers to this lower section. So first off, we're going to assign plasterboard. We're going to need a new layer in here. Let's insert one, which will be our vertical timber. Which will have a hatch on it already. Okay. You'll notice it's got a thickness of 0. That's fine. We'll set that to finish 2. Now, with that selected, use assign layers. And we may need to move that down. Assign layers and pick the surface or the region that you'd like to assign that material to. So first pick the layer, then pick assign layers, and pick that. And you can see now that's gone blue. And now when you pick through, you can see that you're able to witness what is actually assigned. And you can see that these have the same thickness there. Okay, click OK. And this is again why we use consistent colors. It's really easy to determine. And there you have it. You can see we now have a timber paneling assigned down below that is split from our plasterboard wall.